Instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Potter and Scott McLeod.
All right, welcome to the Flagstick Podcast, a Masters edition, if you will, because it is Masters Week, and Masters is underway, the 90th edition of the Masters, I will say. So we're going to talk all things Masters, but before we get to that, this episode of the Flagstick Podcast is sponsored by Golf PEI. Golf Prince Edward Island is a premier Canadian golf destination boasting the most number of golf courses per capita in our great country. With 400 fairways closer than you can imagine, top-tier accommodations, and exquisite culinary experience, it is the easiest golf vacation you will ever book. So why not book one golf vacation at golfpei.ca. Please follow us across all social media networks. I don't sound like I'm begging, but please follow us across all social media networks.
Maybe.
Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. Please subscribe to the Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. And of course, we do encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us, click the notification bell, make sure you never miss a single episode of this podcast or anything else we happen to put up there over the course of the season. Well, as mentioned, it is the 90th edition of the Masters. It's underway. So we're going to talk all things Augusta National Golf Club and the championship that is beloved by so many. Mm-hmm. And on the back nine, we're going to talk about some little nuggets from the 2026 Masters Media Guide and whatever else happens to come up. There's so much chitter chatter and banter and stuff going on. All the talking heads are in full force, including these two. And there's things that have been said with them that I might bring up that I think would be interesting discussion points here. So who knows where this is going to go, but it's going to go somewhere and it's going to end somewhere.
Yeah, there you go.
And Scott's rocking some. He said it was a flowery shirt. I have to say that at first look,
thought it was pizza.
I thought there were little slices of pizza on his shirt.
Yeah.
What's good is he's not rocking that weird green jacket that he won down in. Where'd you win it? North Carolina,
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. So of course, why did I not figure that one out on my own? Some shiny green jacket.
That tournament actually has returned, and I declined heading down to it.
Why would you decline?
Well, you know.
Doesn't everybody want to win multiple green jackets?
Sure, I guess. Yeah.
Given this is Masters Week, how could you decline an invitation to go and participate in a tournament where you could win a green jacket?
Well, because I've already got one. So.
And do you think Rory is not playing the Masters this week because he's already got one?
Well,
come on, McLeod.
No, but he'd just get the same one. But
that's true. That's true. You get multiple. But you get like a bigger closet. This Tiger's got a bigger locker to hold all his jackets.
I will say before we get to it here, I mean, I love the fact that everybody wants to chat about the Masters.
Oh yeah,
so fired up. But let's get to our front nine before we get to our front nine, I guess.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, the front nine. Front nine is presented by Metcalf Golf Club, a natural setting of pleasant challenge. You wouldn't know it right now, but now is a great time to think about the golf season ahead. Game packages for everyone are available, 10, 20, and 30 round passes online and at the course. And of course, memberships are sold out there this year, but get on the wait list. You got to be on these wait lists, people. I'm telling you. League registrations, visit metcalfgolf.com and stay in touch with Golf Savings.
They've got a bunch of clinics too, right? So I think a lot of people should sign up for some of those. I know
there's a lot of stuff going on there, and if you go to metcalfgolf.com, you're going to see everything. There's an event coming up celebrating their 50th anniversary this year.
Awesome,
very cool new 50th logo.
That.
Well, if I say who did it, then it looks like I'm glossing their logo because we did it. But it really is a cool logo.
You can.
It is a cool logo. But check out the website. There's some great stuff to sign up for. There are events all season long. The Charity Classic, obviously this year. We've been involved in that since day one. So there you go. All right. Not yesterday. What day was it? I don't even remember now. Tuesday.
That was
Tuesday. I'm
yesterday.
on the road a lot more now. We have not quite revealed to people why I'm on the road so much right now, but we will reveal that at some point or another very soon.
We have said it on the podcast.
Have
So,
we said it?
yeah, we
I don't think
have.
we said that it's actually
Yeah.
happening, have we?
Well,
I don't think so.
I think we said that we had plans for it, but yeah. Anyways, we'll leave
Anyway,
it at that.
on the road a bunch, loving it, being back out there, touring around. Went down to the Cornwall area yesterday, drove through a blizzard,
Good times.
which is great. I mean, it got up, went to bed the night before, no snow on the ground. Wake up the next morning, snow on the ground, covered, and
Yeah.
driving to Cornwall in a blizzard to talk to people about the golf season.
Welcome to Canada.
That's just crazy stuff, crazy stuff. But
Yep.
that said, went down, saw Caroline Baxter, Archie's golf there, and she's got a huge project underway, hoping to be open very soon. But building is phenomenal looking. She's had some posts on social media about it. In fact, I think she
Saw
posted
that
not long
yesterday.
after I left.
Yes,
I
exactly.
sent you a picture,
I
and you
know.
see all the furniture all stacked there in the picture, and
Yep.
then she posted a picture probably 2 hours later with all the furniture laid out properly.
Yeah.
So I was there just a little bit too early, but
Yeah, they're doing a top tracer driving range down there. People are not really familiar, but obviously, expanded out what they're doing as far as their T line is concerned and having a covered area and stuff like that. So a pretty industrious project by her.
very much. There's a little area in there where they're going to be able to do the junior camps and stuff inside when need be.
Cool.
Huge patio that they're building off the back of the structure. A little teaching area down at the end for Pasquale.
Yeah.
A nice covered area.
cool.
And then they still have the other area down below in front of the miniature golf course.
Right.
That's not covered. That's the old one, but it's an aquatic driving range down there. Very cool. Very cool setup. She's done a great job. It looks great. Can't wait to see it in action.
Yes, we need an opening date on that one.
Yeah,
Sure.
well, I think
Speaking
what
of
the
that,
opening date was intended for, and
Yeah.
what the opening date might be now. It was cold and windy yesterday, and the crew was out putting up poles.
Yeah.
So
Let's just say our opening calendar is super busy. We're adding more to it. So if people want to see our opening date calendar for Eastern Ontario, Western Quebec on flagstick.com, I did add a few driving ranges this morning, ranges at golf courses. Got a few more dates. It's difficult. People need to understand. I mean, obviously the snow yesterday slowed down the pace of DMs, calls, texts, everything else that's happening. The madness that is spring, which we love. But golf courses, obviously with the weather the way it is, they're not 100% sure. So we do have a lot of dates that we will add once golf courses can fully confirm them.
For sure.
But obviously they're hesitant to throw out a date there, given the way the weather is. I want to see what the condition of the turf is like, moisture, all sorts of different things. And, it looks like there's a fair bit of rain in the next little while. So be patient, people. I know those couple of nice warm days really get everybody excited about playing golf. There are some courses that are open, but be patient with everyone else. And, eventually they'll get there and you'll forget that you were ever sitting in the same position waiting for them to be open.
Well, that's it exactly. I mean, even I know Castleview was cutting greens,
Yes.
and then all of a sudden you got snow
Covered in
covering
snow.
all your
Yeah.
greens. So this is just the nature of the beast. Relax.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some golf starting very soon. Once everything opens, everything's gonna start opening in massive
It's going to happen
flows.
fast. Yeah.
That calendar's gonna fill up in a hurry, and you'll be fine. Relax, people. Relax and enjoy the Masters. That's what we're here to talk about.
Well, there we
I
go.
also had a chance to talk to went down, saw Alan McNairn at Upper Canada.
Yeah.
Major renos going on inside the clubhouse there. His office is still the weird green color, but apparently that's going to be changing soon too. Oh, it's an ugly
After all
green.
these
I am sorry, but it really is an ugly green. But yeah, some renos going on in the clubhouse down there, so that's pretty cool. No particular date from Upper Canada on when they're going to open, but he's excited.
They're usually a little later than most, I guess. Yeah.
He did say probably not until early May. So
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine. Popped over, didn't get a chance to talk to Phil at the new owner at Summer Heights,
Mm-hmm.
but I did pop by there and talk to Nathan, the superintendent there, and I'm excited about what's going on out there. Just I'm excited about the story. I know we'll probably, delve into the story a little bit
Yeah.
more once we both have a chance to have a good chat with Phil about what's going on out there. But
Mm-hmm.
I had a nice little tour around the Cornwall area. Popped into some places that I hadn't been in a while, and yeah, so it was pretty cool.
Nice.
But we're not here to talk about my sojourns. We're here to talk about the
No.
Masters.
Yeah, like I said, everybody's, as normal. I mean, every year everybody gets excited about this. I think representing sort of the start of the golf season, people are just so excited, and there's so much content and so much coverage now. And we talked about that a little bit last week in a little bit of a preview, in the fact that, years ago it used to be just a couple hours of afternoon coverage, and we're
Yeah.
saying years ago, we're talking decades ago here now. But it's wall to wall, and we saw some great stuff at the Augusta National Women's Amateur. Canadians did well there. T11, T19, T30, they all made the cut and got to the Saturday, got to play Augusta National. Vanessa Boravilis from Canada was the top finisher for Canada, and she's a former winner of the Augusta National Drive, Chip and Putt, which was kind of cool. And then we had 4 Canadians participate in that Drive, Chip and Putt. I didn't get to see much of it on Sunday. I had a bunch of other things going on, but from what I talked to, as far as the number of people, the Drive, Chip and Putt was just as delightful as it has been in the past.
Drive and chip and putt was pretty good. You know what? You know what the storyline for me for the drive, chip and putt.
What's
Okay,
that?
so there's some unique golf swings.
Always.
You're
Oh,
all
yeah.
young kids because you're talking 7-year-olds to 15-year-olds here, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
really cool to see the different things that some of these kids do.
Was it the
What
left
I
hand low kid?
there
Did you
was
see
there was
him? The
yeah
cross-hander? Yeah.
there was a crosshander. There's just the uniqueness of the swings.
Yes, of
There's
course.
a 6-year-old out there, youngest ever to participate in the drive, chip, and putt. Nice swing on a 6-year-old. But
Yeah.
at that said, there's lots of 6-year-olds out there with nice golf swings. It's not
Sure.
like this is some unique anomaly.
No.
Just happened to be on TV. What I found really interesting and almost annoying is
Mm.
that I see here's a 7-year-old out there doing their little putting thing on the 2 holes they're putting with. Makes the putt, walks over, hands the putt to the dad, stand there by the bag. That's all cool. And then I look, I see the kid's got a lab putter.
Mhm.
He's 7 years old. Got a $500 putter.
500. Keep going. 800.
I figured with all the less shaft, it was probably less, but I don't get it. I don't know that and coming up in the hockey world myself, I see the same thing.
Yeah.
My kids, I'm telling you this right now, my kids in hockey growing up never had the top of the line
Sure.
$300 sticks, $500 skates, whatever. None of it. It was never necessary. It
Yep.
totally isn't necessary.
Yep.
And I don't understand why we have to go down that road. Now, if you
Yeah.
get stuff for free, sure, I get that. I mean, yes, my youngest had some pretty high-end equipment, golf
Sure.
equipment, but I'm also in the golf industry,
Right.
and I do get a fair bit of stuff significantly cheaper at times, or don't pay. Like it depends, and I don't look for it. But if I happen to get it, then great. But this is all of them. I mean,
Yeah.
there's thousands and thousands of
I think
dollars in this equipment.
Yeah, I think there's 2 sort of things to for me to comment on that. One, I think there's an education component to it a little bit. I think there's a lot of times some of the people assume that they've got to have the latest and greatest and most expensive to be able to perform. They don't
course.
understand that the golfer themselves obviously has and not to say
So you're
equipment's
saying
not
lack of
gonna help.
education.
Lack of education. Yeah.
Right.
It's an education issue as far as the, believing that the equipment itself is going
I
to
agree
make
with that.
the biggest difference. The other side of it is that, I get it when parents say to me, I just want the best opportunity for my kid. Sure, we all do. We do. But, but that doesn't mean they need or require the most expensive, the latest, the greatest, whatever, it doesn't make up for hard work. It doesn't make up for talent. It doesn't make up for skill. It doesn't, you know what I mean?
No.
Yes, do they need equipment that's suitable to them from a fit wise? For sure. And, I can't judge because I don't know why they would have that putter in particular or whatever, but let's just say that just because you walk into the shop and somebody and says to you, you say, hey, I'm just starting the game, what do I need for equipment? And if they automatically say, well, a set's going to start about $3,000 and whatever. Look, my daughter is on her 7th set. She plays with a package set, as
I
we
know. I
would
was going to
call
say
it.
she still uses a box set, right? Like
She uses a box set. It's a little, we'll call it a higher end box set. So that it would cost, I don't know, it would have retail would be like $1,100 or something like that. But was a full set from a brand, high quality, whatever. I guarantee you, she does not play any better or worse because of it. Yes, she's had other quality clubs coming up where maybe they weren't as good of quality or whatever, but she got to a point where it's like, oh, that's okay. But she doesn't need a $3,000 set of irons. For
no.
her, it's not going to make a difference from a score perspective or whatever. So, yeah, just people have to realize and understand that, it's not going to be the difference maker all the time.
I think it's so much better at that young age. And I know we recognize when our kids are decent at something, we want to make sure that
Sure.
they have
Yeah,
all the great stuff. I get that.
I
But
agree.
even my kids, my youngest, who probably was the most avid about golf when he
Yep.
was 6, 7, 8, 9,
Yep.
did not have a full set of clubs until
No.
he was closer to 12.
Yep.
When he really showed an interest in the game, and I started adding clubs, but I started with U.S.
Mm.
kids,
Yep.
and we started with the smaller sets, and we didn't start with the high end U.S. kids. We started with the slightly lower end, and then when he showed an interest, like a
Yep.
real interest, I went to sort of the U.S. kids tour stuff, which was
Right.
a little better quality, a little better shafts, and then I filled in the blanks. And then it wasn't until he was 12 years old, that I got him his first set of Ping Prodigies,
Yep.
which was more of a full set. Still wasn't a full set, but it was
Right.
more of a full set. And then went from there. Like they're better off playing with less clubs, because then they learn to hit different clubs from different lengths, and they're not reliant on the loft of the
Yep.
club to hit at a certain distance. They learn to hit
Yep.
different shots,
Yeah.
lower, higher, whatever. I mean,
I can say from my own experience, I won my first club championship that I won as a junior at a 7-piece set. I did not own a sand wedge. I had to hit shots. I mean, I didn't grow up in a golf family, so I just had what I had,
and look at you
and
now.
I did okay. I did okay. So yeah, I think from that, yeah, you see that. I think part of it too, though, is you see a lot of the people that are in the game. It does show you that a lot of people are in the game. There are barriers, as far
Hmm.
as economic barriers. And generally, what you're going to see for a lot of the people that do have the opportunity to make the drive, chip, and putt, they're not as much of the kids that are from the country golf courses and 9-holers and so
No,
forth. So I mean, we're not changing that here or whatever, but yeah,
no, we're not.
it is kind of interesting to see that, and to make the assumption that you're going to be better because of it. I would tell you, actually, if people want to go back and listen to something, I mean, obviously they want to listen to this podcast, but if you listen to the Earn Your Edge podcast with Cameron McCormick and Corey Lundmark. Billy Horschel did a podcast on it last week. And if you want to listen to it and listen to somebody that came from very, very, let's say, not from a rich environment
Hmm.
and had very limited resources and obviously became a very successful player, it's very interesting to listen to his story and how it goes. And it's very educational as far as parents are concerned. But
There you go. Okay,
besides the point. All right, we'll get
leave
to
it
the
at that.
Masters.
Okay, let's go back to talking more Masters. So,
Sure.
drive, chip, and putt out of the way. The women's amateur out
Yeah.
of the way. Great event. I'm kind of still thinking. I still feel like I
Women's pros need to be there or no?
no, I don't. Well, I don't know. I don't know where that. I don't know. I don't know if the spirit of amateur golf, I think, is something that is
Yeah,
pretty
it's
big
huge
with
in Augusta
Augusta. So
National. Yeah,
I
I
feel
agree.
like, but I kind of feel like it should be after the Masters.
Hmm.
because we get excited
Interesting.
about one of the things about the Masters. We get very excited about the Masters happening, the azaleas blooming, the lushness of the golf course and stuff. It's kind of one of those welcome to spring moments, and
Right.
we're introduced to the welcome to spring moment the week before the Masters, because
Mm.
Augusta is Augusta the week before the Masters. It doesn't. And not a whole lot is changing other than the way it's set up for the Masters and the massive crowds and stuff, and the whole
Yeah.
Masters ambiance around it. But being that the women play the amateur on the Sunday, and this is not me taking something away from women's sport and things like that. It's just that the Masters is the springboard to the golf season, always has been for years. And we as golfers watching on TV get excited about the Masters happening and getting our first looks that week of the Masters. And when we're shown the golf course in its entirety during the women's amateur prior to the Masters happening, it feels like it takes a little something away. Not a lot. Look at
Yeah.
I'm good. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay. I enjoyed watching the the ladies amateurs play it. I have for the last bunch of years watching them play it. I would love at some point to see the LPGA play a Masters type event at Augusta. I don't know that it'll ever happen, but it would be kind of cool. But in the meantime, we have the Masters that we have had, and we still get quite excited about that. But
Yeah, I understand why they do it beforehand, because there's a couple different things. I mean, obviously, if the main event is done, then a lot of people's attention goes away from it. So it probably brings more attention to it by being earlier. It also allows them to kind of lead up, have the drive, chip, and putt, have a lot of the players on site. That's a big thing too. You'll see a lot of the tour pros are there.
yeah, they're there the whole
Correct.
time. You see,
They're going to be gone. So so that's part of it as well. So, but whatever the case, we're on to the main event now, and as we record this now, we got the par three going on today. Do you watch like the par three?
all of it.
Yeah,
All of it. I want everything. Like it's unlike other majors. It's kind of like Daytona Speed Week.
yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like the Daytona 500 is happening. But all the other stuff surrounding Daytona Speed Week with the Rolex and the other races that are happening the whole week long. There's the showcases, all of that stuff. It's all part of Daytona Speed Week. That's what I see with the Masters. You don't have U.S. Open week is the players showing up, playing practice rounds, and talking about the golf course. That's what U.S. Open week or Open Championship week or PGA Champion but Masters week, there's other stuff going on. They have the par three contest where it gets the wives involved. Sometimes it gets the kids
family,
involved, and nobody really cares
Yeah.
if you got the tradition of skipping the ball across the pond on 16. There's all of these things that lead up to, and if you want to include the drive, chip, and putt as part of that now, and the women's amateur final round, that's all part of the whole Masters week. And then they have their practice rounds, and they have the champions dinner,
like amateur dinner. They have.
There's
all
just
those
so
things.
much.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes it. Yeah, and I think that's what makes it special for the players as well, because, we had 91 players in the field. They get a chance to participate, but, this is early in the year. These people work very hard. They're away from their families a lot during the year. This is a great opportunity for them to all be together. I mean, I was listening to Rory McIlroy's press conference, and he's talking about, obviously, Poppy, his daughter, had made that putt, and she was adamant that he bring her putter this year. So he brought it up so she could use it this year. It's the Frankie Fleetwoods. It's all the little fun quotes. It's the caddies getting to hit shots. It's seeing them in a different light, and it's such a joyful place. And then there's so much intensity that will happen over the next.
I know, and then you got this. Then you got this event happening on the Thursday to Sunday. That's just like intense.
It means so much to the players, and they have the opportunity to have their friends and their family there. They're out the opportunity, even on the Sunday. They have Sunday or the Monday. Anyways, whichever day it is, the past champions get to bring a guest and get to play. So we saw, obviously, Rory was out with his dad. It's just a big celebration of golf. And I think that's sort of the underlying thing here is that, as much as we love as you said, the US Open, the Open Championship, the PGA or whatever, the Masters it's just everything. And I think one of the cool parts, and I had a couple people mention this on social, and I have it the same here. My mother-in-law watches the Masters, and she's not a golfer. And that was what people mentioned to me as well. They're like, hey, my wife watches, my spouse watches, my girl, like these people watch this tournament and they don't play the game, but they're just enamored with the beauty of the place and the traditions, and there's just something about it that makes it magical. And I'm writing a column right now and talking about some things for some upcoming content. Is that the way to put it? And I'm talking about that sort of that magic of the sport and what sort of sparks you to play and be involved with it. And I think that's this type of celebration is when you see the smiles on people's faces. I don't see a lot of people with going, oh, the Masters, it sucks. I've never heard anyone
No,
say
not at
that,
all.
right?
Now, there's a number. We talk about some of those things that separate the Masters from other major championships. Now, we're not going to get into all the details of this because we're going to run to the front. But I just wanted to mention some other things. There are some other very significant things that separate the Masters as a major championship every year from all of the other major championships. Number one, the permanent residency. It's always at Augusta National. There's permanent scoreboard stanchions. There's permanent scoreboards that they still use the manual scoreboards for the tournament, like they do at the Open Championship. It's a permanent location, always there, which is
it creates
awesome.
Familiarity, right?
It's like the Flagstick Open, always at Equinel.
Yeah, exactly.
The Masters and the Flagstick Open, very similar tournaments.
Oh, of course, yeah.
The commercial free feel. Very limited commercials. There's
way less than most tournaments. For sure.
far less. They have more control over the announcers. They're more control over the content, which just means that they're able to certain terminology, referring to the people on grounds, not as the crowd or the fans. They're referred to as the patrons. The rough is second cut, which I liked it when there was no cut.
Yeah, but it's just there's a lot of civilness about it, and when you're on the grounds, and people can't run, and it's like no phones, and it's like going back in time, right?
Yeah, well, even the prices, it is one of the hardest tickets to get.
Yes.
Period.
But once you're
in there, it's cheap, inexpensive beer, inexpensive sandwiches. It's all about the tournament. It's all about the experience for the patrons. It's not about profit. Why is it not about profit? Well, main thing is not about profit is because the golf club,
they have lots of money.
They have more than enough money. There was the controversy years and years ago about the sponsors should back out because they don't, it was a whole women's movement, I think, that was going on back then. And that was years ago. But just the fact that they came out and said, well, that's fine. We're not changing our structure. We're not doing anything. We'll just run the tournament without commercials, without any sponsors. They didn't care because they didn't need to. So I like the fact that they're not taking the fact that they're wealthy and trying to make themselves wealthier because of the tournament. They're taking that opportunity, that situation, and they're turning it into a better experience for the patrons.
Yeah, they do, and it was their initiative to obviously look at having that women's amateur and the drive, chip, and putt and so forth. And yes, they'll do $70 million in merchandise. But again, you don't go there and it's not, oh, this hat's $200 or whatever.
No, hat's $25.
Yeah, so you go and it's that sort of that the roots of the game is really, really cool. So I think that aspect of it, and again, it's that familiarity. Everybody goes back and it's the same thing, and kind of what's there, and I think when they invest in it as well from It's not my notes here, but when you look at what they've done for content online, the fact that you can go and watch every single shot from the final round from
Hmm.
1968 to 2025. You look at the shot tracking that they have. Like, there's no sports website that is as good as this one. And from a complete coverage, everything is there. Everything is available for you to see in whatever way you want to follow your favorite players. You want to see all their shots. I mean, that's the fun part. You can flip it on there, and if you want to follow Corey Connors and see every single shot he plays, you're going to see every single shot he plays. It's not just the
Which is crazy
broadcast.
considering the way the Masters used to be.
Correct, exactly.
You know,
And
now
so,
you can watch everything, and
yeah,
back then you could hardly watch anything
right.
except the
And so
back nine.
everybody always assumed that, oh, okay, well, it's this closed off, super private club. They're really in control of it. They're not going to do all this. And, they took a turnabout and went totally the other way
Hmm.
and became the most, while being a closed private club, they became the most open about providing everything they could to make this a great event, and embraced technology,
Yeah,
embraced everything that they possibly could, which is fantastic, but
and
doing it in a way that's not, it's not overt, and it's not feeling like overly commercial, or it's not logos and signboards and stuff everywhere. They kept that simplicity.
well, the interesting thing is that a lot of times with tournaments like the higher stature tournaments, they host the tournaments and they're involved in the tournaments as a way of showcasing their golf
Right.
course,
Yeah.
whether it's for resort play, whether it's
Right.
for membership.
Yeah.
The thing about Augusta National is that they're not doing this to showcase the course to get new members. You
No.
can't just join Augusta National.
No.
So it doesn't matter. Everybody
No.
knows Augusta National. Nobody that is involved in golf anywhere on the planet, or maybe even on the moon, doesn't know about Augusta National and
Hmm.
and what it's all about. But you can't
Yeah.
just join Augusta National.
No.
So
No.
there's nothing self-serving about the Augusta National and the Masters and the coverage and exposure that they get. It's just
Yeah.
their tournament. You know,
Yeah.
it's what they do. And
I
it's
think
so
that
cool.
yeah, and I think one of the things that you see when you were there, I remember talking to a couple of the green coats, the members, right? Obviously, they wear their green coats to ID them as members or whatever. They're so proud
Hmm.
to have the event, and these are very well-heeled people that have accomplished a lot in their lives or whatever. But this is like their pride and joy every year, is to be able to showcase this place and do this for a game that they love. And even, I still think the best part about the Masters, or one of the best parts, is the fact that you can't bring your cell phone. And
Hmm.
I know a lot of people, you can bring a regular camera during the practice rounds, and that's great. But the biggest part about that is that people are in the moment and enjoying, in a world where they're all of a sudden stuck to their phones all the time. They're living in the moment and watching it and taking it
Yeah.
all in, and you hear them clap, and because they don't have a phone where they're doing this. They have their hands where they can actually clap. So you hear them doing stuff. So that just I'm not saying every single tournament needs to be like that, but it's part of what makes it special.
No, another thing about the Masters and Augusta National is one of the things that I always like about the golf course is how difficult the golf course can be.
Yes.
Now, in some of the more recent years, the golf course has played a little softer than
Yep.
it's intended to play. So you see the lower scores, you see
Yep.
less of the issues with short siding yourself on some of
Yeah.
those greens.
Hmm.
But this week is a little bit more exciting. This week, the forecast is nice
Perfect.
weather,
Yep.
no rain. The
Yep.
course is drying out, and
Yep.
now the greens crew at Augusta National can truly take a look at the product in front of them and make it what they want to make it.
Yep.
This golf course could play really hard, firm, and fast. And
Yep.
if that's the case all week,
Oh boy.
the scores by Sunday are going to be, and if they get, I mean, I don't think there's high winds in the forecast,
No.
which is the only other sort of not. I wouldn't want high winds at Augusta,
No.
but
No.
a little wind swirling because of all the trees and stuff. The wind swirls a lot there. So if you get
Sure.
enough wind swirling around, Amen Corner becomes an absolute nightmare for them, in particular, especially
Yep.
12.
Yep.
And the course is going to play more the way we expect and would like to see these players have to tackle it.
Yeah.
It's going to challenge every part of the game, especially iron control from the fairways, like your distance control from the fairways and around the greens,
Yeah.
especially if you short side yourself.
Yeah, it's going to be the driest Masters in 15 years, according to predictions from AccuWeather. I actually got some content from them this morning regarding that or whatever. So you're right. It's going to allow the golf course to be showcased, as difficult as they can. They can be in full control of it. And that means the golfers are going to have to, really showcase their skills.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it fun for the rest of us because we get to watch them do that and not just, lob shots onto the green and they stop automatically.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot more precision when we look at the rolls in the greens because these are obviously greens that are very rumpled with large slopes in them. They're going
Nice
to,
word.
yeah, they're going to have to be very careful about how they're playing it. And, holes like number 3 that's only 350 yards,
Yeah.
but it has a very severe green. I mean, this is the hole that has changed the least over all the time for the Masters, and the reason is, many of the greats of the game have said it's a perfect short par 4 because it demands so much as far as choices off the tee, how you're going to play your approaches. It's short, but it's not easy, and conditions as they are this week will make it even more so.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, we're gonna take a break.
Sure.
When we come back, we're gonna dig a little bit more into the Masters. We've got a little more conversation, a few more topics to bring up. We'll dig into the media guide a little bit, see what's there, and whatever else happens to come up. I mean, it's just a whole lot of Masters chatter going on this week on the podcast. So we're gonna take a break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You're listening to Watching the Flagstick podcast with Jeff Potter and Scott McLeod.
When you golf on Prince Edward Island, there are over 400 fairways closer than you can imagine. Not to mention countless miles of pristine beaches and a rich world-class culinary experience. So get here fast, then take it slow and play around on Island Time. Golf Prince Edward Island.
All right, welcome back to the Flagstick podcast with Jeff Potter and Scott McLeod, talking all things Masters this week on the podcast, and we're going to continue that here on the Back Nine, presented by Falcon Ridge Golf Club. Indoor golf is still in full swing at Falcon Ridge. Their simulators are open 7 days a week, beginning at 8 a.m. and shutting down late in the evening. They have 4 TrackMan simulators featuring over 500 courses, including many PGA Tour courses. They have beverages and light food available. To book one of the 4 TrackMan sims, visit falconridgegolf.ca. They'll be getting open soon too, I would imagine.
Yes. Yes, I had some messages with Ryan there. He should have a date here soon for the range and the race view course. And on our little break, I actually added a couple more places to our calendar. It doesn't stop.
You'd think that that's because people are listening, but this isn't live.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
So no,
good,
that's not what it was.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back into a little Masters chatter. Now, an interesting conversation. I heard an interesting conversation last night as I was watching, as I do late into the evening, watching live from on the Golf Channel.
Golf Channel.
And our favorite person, Brandel Dumbly, and Paul McGinley. I like Paul McGinley. Like Paul McGinley a lot, actually. I love the just honesty, the way he speaks. I don't particularly like Brandel Chambly.
Yeah, I can't even
really
watch
understand. Sometimes I know he was a PGA Tour player, but
I get it.
It's also not like he was,
Yeah, look, he won one time, and that obviously,
and that's a big deal. I mean, winning the PGA Tour, it's a big deal, but it certainly doesn't qualify you to be an expert on all things PGA Tour.
Correct. And, he does his research, and I get that. But, I think I've documented that on this podcast before, just like a lot of other people. I had some social media interactions with him, and, there was clearly something that we were discussing that was factual that he didn't think was right, and that automatically that creates he blocks everyone. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
So he just didn't want to admit something happened. So, we all have to learn. We all have to have a growth mentality, and he kind of wants to be top of the food chain.
You mean we have to act like adults and not like children?
Yeah, pretty much. So, which is why I don't listen to it. But
that said,
what did you take away? What was your point that you were?
Well, the point was there was some conversation back and forth between McGinley and Chambly about what would be considered the rivalry, if you will, between Bryson DeChambeau and Rory McIlroy. And I don't disagree with the rivalry side of it all. I truly do believe that there is a competitive rivalry between the two players. I don't know or particularly care if there's a I don't like him, he doesn't like me kind of mentality. That stuff really does not resonate with me at all. I could care less if they like each other. What I like is the fact that you've got, Bryson got the better of Rory at the U.S. Open. And then Rory clearly got the better of Bryson at the Masters last year. But the competitive side of those two events, between the two of them, the back and forth, it just feels good when you see that kind of stuff. That you've got these guys do not have to play golf together like they're best buddies. They don't have to be chitter-chattery with one another the whole day. There's major championship on the line. And however you mentally have to handle your stress and your game when it gets down to the nitty-gritty of a tournament like that, you handle your business. I mean, Tiger was not anybody's friend when he was on the golf course playing, unless he was your friend off the golf course.
Right.
Like if he was playing a final round with Nota Begay, there'd be a different atmosphere, I think, between the two of them, or with Mark O'Meara, or like back in the day, there'd be a little bit more relaxed Tiger. But at the same time, when the tournament started, Tiger's switch went off, and he didn't interact with the fans, which is why Phil became a very popular choice amongst the fans for so many years, because Phil was always, jovial with the fans, the thumbs up, all that, which is it's just such an annoying thing now. But but it was such a cool thing. He was always, Tiger was not like that. And he was criticized for it a little bit, but it's his business. Like, this is, I'm down to business. I'm winning tournaments here. Let's go. And Rory was like that last year at the Masters. And I think he was probably like that at the U.S. Open too, where there was no interaction with him and Bryson. And that could be because he was in his space and he was doing his work, or he just didn't want to interact with Bryson for whatever reason, whether it was a live thing or other. I don't know. No, I don't care. Again,
I think it's a lot. I think that's a lot that gets constructed outside. But I believe what you're saying, though, is that they're there to do their job, and they're competitive with everyone. Not and if it happens to be another player that's competing with you and is closest to you at the time, obviously it's going to feel like it's a rival. But look, everybody wants to beat everyone else.
Absolutely,
that's your goal more than anything.
It has to be.
Yeah, but
why are you out there if it's not?
Yeah, but I think the constructs of the Brooks Bryson thing and all that stuff like that. Look, as you said, do they all love each other? Look, they probably, some of them get along with others more than others, but it doesn't mean that it's like some bitter, I'm going to kill you. It just means inside the ropes, I want to beat you. I want to be the best. And they all realize it's an individual sport and you can't play defense. So you have to be as good as you can. So in essence, you're competing with yourself more than anything, which is the great part about golf.
Yeah, no, 100%. How do you feel? They also talked a little bit about LIV and the LIV players coming over here and sort of a Ryder Cup mentality to it. I don't think I totally agreed with that side of it. I don't think that there's a LIV PGA Tour Ryder Cup mentality at all. Does LIV want to see something like that happen at some point or another? maybe they do just to prove a point, but I don't know what point you're proving. You know, they talked about Patrick Reed but they've referred to him as a live golfer, but technically, is he? He's coming back, so
Yeah.
obviously he's not. There's a
He's
reason
more a
why he's
DP
coming
World.
back.
Yeah, he's more a DP tour player
Yeah, I
now.
would
I
say
mean,
he's more DP World Tour now.
yeah, when I look at the players and you look at who's in the field, I mean, you look at players that play on primarily Asian Tour, DP World Tour, whatever
Yeah,
tour that they play on, but they're representing themselves more than anything. So
100%.
I think any discussion about, you know, oh, they play there, who cares? In
Yeah.
the end, they're here representing themselves. And they're not representing their tour. So I think the Ryder Cup discussion or the Europe versus USA or whatever, I think it's just a talking point.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the thing, John Rahm is not my most favorite golfer,
Hmm.
and I would prefer many players other than John Rahm to be the winner at the end of the day. But it's not because of live golf.
No,
Do I like live? Not a big fan.
but that
That
doesn't.
said, I'll say this, and I know this is off the Masters sort of topic line right now, but I like the concept of what TGL does and what Live does with respect to the team golf aspect, where you've got a team. It's like a hockey team, and I think there'd be a really cool thing to have like a junior golf league around here, where it's sort of a hockey team mentality, where you've got a certain number of junior golfers. They're all on the Crusaders or the
Yeah,
Rollers or something,
like
and
the
they play
PGA.
every week. They play
Yeah,
another
it's like
team.
PGA. It's like PGA League in the
Yeah, I
US.
think it's a
PGA
great
America does
idea.
that.
So the whole concept of live and the team and professional golf team, I got no problem with. It's the constant comparison
Yeah,
of live to PGA Tour. They're not the same, so we need to stop comparing them and just let them coexist in whatever fashion they need to coexist in. I love the team concept. I love the TGL team concept. Not a big fan of TGL, but mainly I don't get to watch it as much either. Like it seems like it's harder to watch. I don't know.
well, you don't know when it's on half the time, right?
Yeah,
So,
like and usually it's on Sportsnet 360 or something, which I don't get, or you have to stream it
Yeah.
on whatever.
or you don't know what
Anyway.
night it's going to be on. But anyways, I think the variety of concepts as far as different types of play, I think that is what's interesting. I mean, that's obviously what we, you know, buy into when we watch Ryder Cup or President's Cup. It's something seeing different, right? So that's all good. But anyways, they're all playing for themselves this week. So
Yeah, well, exactly. Now here we got this field of these great players: Scheffler, McIlroy, Fitzpatrick,
Yep.
Cameron Young, Fleetwood, Schauffele, Rose. Like the list goes on and on of great players in the field.
Yep.
We talked the last podcast about like picking favorites and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and we said it's literally it seems impossible anymore to pick a
it is.
favorite to win a tournament. Because when the Players' Championship started, would you have picked Cam Young?
No. No, I think the only thing that stays somewhat consistent is that when we look at the top 10 major championships, they're generally the players that are ranked number 3 or better have won 6 of the last 10. So obviously it's about form more than anything. So it helps inform it, but it doesn't guarantee anything for
Do you
sure.
think there's a significant advantage, obviously, to players that have played Augusta National a number of times before?
Oh, yeah.
Does it take one? Does it take one tour around the golf course to familiarize yourself enough to win? In this fancy
think
media guide of 400 and some odd
90
pages, does it say how many first time visit to Augusta National players have won the
Well, we
Masters?
know that Fuzzy Zeller is the only person that have won it the first time.
So one player in the history of the Masters has won the Masters, having seen
the first appearance.
the first appearance at the golf course.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
It does. I think part of it. There's a couple different things. I mean, now now on the PGA Tour, you can't it's different as far as green books are gone or whatever. Augusta's never had green books, so I think the nuance is really.
I think that's
separated.
awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I think the nuance, and especially here where the greens are so severe, what happens is that these players, the more that they play it, the more they get familiar with it, the more they figure out a formula of where they need to go, and that's why during the practice rounds, so many of the rookie players are trying to seek out knowledge from the experienced players,
Hmm.
because it's like making decisions. I mentioned number three as far as that hole. Well, how do you play that hole? Now it's a drivable par four for a lot of these players, but
Hmm.
how close do you want to be with it, and where do you want to leave yourself? Because in the end, it might not be so much about making birdies, but avoiding bogeys and avoiding disasters.
Hmm.
So, when we go on to the nuances of the greens, I mean, they are so severe. So as greens get more severe and there's more slope in them, it's going to be a lot more difficult to match up lines and speed to get your putts near the hole or to make putts. So again, experience like kind of plays into it. I was listening to a YouTube video with Eric Anders Lang, and he was talking about playing it after the Masters a number of years ago. He won the media lottery, and he
Lucky
was
guy.
talking. Yeah, and he was talking about his caddy, and he said that he said to the caddy on one aspect, what do you read here? And he's like, I don't read putts at Augusta National. I remember putts at Augusta National.
Interesting. So
So
experience of having played the golf course, especially for the caddies.
right, and especially here where they have a lot of the same traditional pins from year to year. Those hole locations obviously means if they have the same hole locations, if they haven't changed any grading or anything on those greens, then a lot of those putts are going to be very familiar, very similar. So, those are the subtle nuances for the players that have had success here that, the more times that they're on those surfaces and see those putts from different areas to those hole locations, they're going to know those nuances and be less surprised by it. Whereas you see the rookie, the rookies or stuff, sometimes they get
Yeah.
you watch them, they're just in shock because they all of a sudden make a putt and they're like, whoa, I expected that to do that and it didn't do that. Or they hit their approach in and they get to the wrong side of the hole and next thing you know it goes off the green, or they hit it some weird part to the green, especially on holes like 14, 14 for an example. That green surface is, it's really kind of got a lot of wild shapes and undulations to it. Like, how do I make use of those to get the ball close to the hole? And when they have to have recoveries for like pars and stuff like that, that becomes very important to know those nuances as well. So I think experience definitely pays off here in a big way.
Now, how many first time um, participants do we have in the Masters this year?
I will double check that if you can. I
I'm
don't know
sure
off
it's
the
in the
top.
500-page media guide.
I'm sure
This is a
it
big
is.
media guide, man. Like,
It,
honestly,
the issue is being able to find it within the media guide. That's
it
the
needs to be
issue.
a
I mean,
digital media guide that is
it is digital.
searchable by
It is.
keywords. See, it's
But even
500
then,
pages. That is
yeah. What's cool?
492. Sorry,
Yeah.
492
Yeah, so it's a
pages.
492 page PDF. I think the print version ends up becoming less or whatever. But I mean, there's every little detail that you could possibly ever want. And I mean, been 115 hole in ones in the par three contest, and they have a list of like every single one of them. They like if you want to
That's
know
crazy.
who was the oldest during whatever, like you name
Do you
it, the
like
nuances
Rory
of it.
this? Do you like Rory this week? Or do you not? Do you
I
think
do.
maybe he's not quite in the form that he needs to be in to win the Masters for back? I mean, because there's only been, um,
The last one to win it back to back was Tiger Woods.
yeah. So there haven't been that
So
many to win it back to back. So,
no, it's
um,
pretty rare. But I do. So that was Tiger was 2001, 2002. So I do like Rory to compete, and the reason why is something different, not because of his form, but because he's taken a couple of weeks off. He's worked on his game, but he's been very relaxed. He's played a bunch of practice rounds. He's I mean, you can see his demeanor this week is just, that pressure is off and he's really enjoying it. In fact, he mentioned that he almost didn't want the week to start because,
no.
he's enjoyed it so much. So yeah, I think there might be a little bit more of a freedom, but it's if you can maintain that freedom, that's going to be a different story if you can maintain that. But certainly, I mean, you cannot discount him based on, the way he's playing for sure.
Um, How's Morikawa's back?
Yeah, that's going to be a different that's going to be a story here. I mean, we don't know too much about it, and what he's telling versus
Yeah,
what
well,
he's is a different
it's like
story.
saying I have a lower body injury.
Right, exactly it. So, he was going to be one of the favorites, and until
Yeah.
obviously that happened to the players, and he withdrew at Valero, obviously trying to give it some more treatment and a little bit more time. But yeah, I wouldn't be spreading any shekels on him at this point. Although he obviously has the talent to do
Do you
something,
think
but
this is the type of golf course that Gary Woodland can win on?
I do. And the only reason I say that is not because of the power perspective, which obviously he's got loads of. I like what he's been doing on the greens of late,
Hmm.
which I think is super, super important. It's not always been the strongest aspect of his game, and I'd have to look to see what his, best finishes and stuff here. But I think, anybody that's got form heading into this, and
Hmm.
confidence is obviously a big aspect to it. That's why you can't discount a Cam Young, for an example. Anybody who's been playing well of recently and in form, and I know that's just that's sort of a stupid take because that seems so obvious more than anything, but that plays into it a lot. It's like,
Oh,
okay, what
100%.
what kind of form do you have? And I mean, again, that past experience, like the fact that obviously Bryson wasn't hoping to shoot 75 last year in the final round,
No.
nor was Corey Connors. But the thing is, they've got themselves in that position, and they had that ability to do that. So you can't ignore the players that will have that confidence. And look, Justin Rose shot 75 in the third round last year, but he got 66 to move his way and get into that playoff last year, and that goes a long way because in your mind you know what you're capable of
Hmm.
around that golf course. And if you haven't shot a low round on that golf course, you're going to question whether you can, whether you're capable of doing that or not.
Now, I know
It's all,
Bryson was there in the final
yeah,
round last year. I just don't know if this type of Augusta National um, suits him.
yes,
I don't
yeah.
know. I
We
don't know
talked
if
about that a
Augusta
little bit.
National as a whole is the right fit for his game unless
Mm.
it plays soft. I just
Yeah,
think that I think I don't know. I mean, this thing. I'm just speculating, saying I don't know if he has enough control over his ball when you're
yeah,
playing with that much raw power. When you're swinging
mm,
that hard and
yeah,
trying to hit the ball that hard and that far and
yeah,
that fast, I don't know that you have control, distance control, the way a Corey Connor has control, or Rory, or
mm,
like it just feels like you're always swinging out of control, and you're
mm.
trying, and your successes and failures depend on just how close you can get at the green without being in trouble.
Yeah, his wedge game has always been a little bit suspect, and that was a big change for Rory last year. Was he really improved that aspect of it? But you got to remember, Rory almost gave this away last year as well. He
Rory
made
did
that.
give it away one year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and I mean he made that double on 13. He obviously dumped it in the bunker, and then Justin Rose going up there. That is what forced the playoff. But obviously Rory, yeah, has had a lot of experiences, kind of giving it away. But
Hmm.
and I look back here. I know a lot of people are obviously talking about Tommy Fleetwood, and I had to look back at last year, and he was very up and down last year. He was 73, 69, 75, 69. So he knows he's capable, and he's obviously feeling a certain level of confidence. But I don't know as far as the success
I still
that's going to
say
happen here.
my I don't want to call it a dark horse. I like Akshay Bhatia. I don't
Mm,
know if it's the way he plays. Kind of has that Bubba Watson feel to
yeah,
it, where he's just he's moving the ball, he's shaping the ball, like, and
mm,
Augusta demands that kind of ability to
yeah.
be successful. You've got to be able to shape the ball and place the ball and move the ball around.
I like him,
And
but
he's
I like him
playing
for
really
his
well.
putting. His
What's that?
putting is really his
Well, maybe if
putting
he
was
used
so
a
solid.
shorter putter, he'd be better.
No, his putting's fantastic. So I mean, at Bay Hill, he made some bombs. He was fantastic as far as putting. Now he was T42 last year here, but again, more laps around here, the better.
Hmm.
And I think his putting has been great. I haven't looked at his stats relative to that, but obviously he played well. You know, uh, at Bay Hill for sure.
He's one of my favorites. I don't know. I've been asked a bunch by people, who do you think's going to win? And I'm like, I don't know.
Same.
I'm not
It's a
even giving
crapshoot.
a prediction. I'm telling you who I think who I think has a decent shot. But I'm not picking a favorite to win the Masters.
Well, it's interesting, and when we look at some of the players, like Cam Smith, for an example, he played well here. The last time Scotty won in 24, he tied for 6 here. He was kind of in the mix there. He's just super steady. He's obviously a major champion, but he's dropped off a bit, and we've sort of don't get to see him because he's over on Live. But he'd be surprising. He has such a good short game. It'd be very interesting.
What about Robert McIntyre?
Yeah, obviously he's feeling it, but I don't. And lefties I haven't got a double check on how many lefties in the field. I'll have to do that math. I know there was 8 started last year, so I think it'd be pretty close, obviously with Akshay and McIntyre. I don't know.
Phil would be playing, obviously, and
no, he's not playing.
Oh, he's not playing. Okay,
no, he's not playing. So we have the two players. Family health matters. So we have the two players that have won the most at Augusta National.
Tiger and Phil.
Tiger and Phil. This is the first time they've both not been there since 1994. That either one of them has not been part of it. So it's going to be a little bit. Yeah. So we're down a lefty as far as that. So I mean. Again, we've talked about, the Canadians, we've talked about a bunch of different things, but, and the golf course has not changed much this year. They get 12 extra yards on the 17th hole, and that's it. So not a lot of changes. So there's not much to speculate or discuss there. It's 75-55, I think is the yardage. So, it's going to be the weather is just going to dictate.
Oh, I hope it stays as it is. I really hope there's not
too.
some system that moves in and dumps a bunch of rain on the golf course. It just stays the way it is.
No, there's a big system just kind of sitting over top of that they expect to kind of stay there. So I don't expect that anything is going to change there. I was trying to find out a few other little nuggets here. I know we don't have a lot of time left here or whatever, but just to kind of work my way down the list. I mean, there's so many different things. It's interesting to go and look at, the age of what's the oldest starter ever in the Masters?
Oldest starter?
Yeah, so you think about that, not the starter, but it's the oldest person that has started and played in the Masters, because obviously the past champions can come back and play. But I was shocked by this number. Like I didn't even.
Wasn't Billy Casper the oldest?
Nope.
I thought he was. I thought it was a point. There was a point where they were trying to get him to stop. When they changed the rule.
There has been that situation over the years or whatever, but Paul Runyon was actually the Little Poison, was his nickname. He was the oldest to start the Masters at 91 years old. Isn't that wild?
Would he shoot? Did he make the cut?
I'd have to go and look. No,
I don't know.
But the oldest to win the par 3 contest was actually Sam Snead. He was 67 or 68 when he.
I can see that.
And the funny part was he won the first one in 1960. So,
I can see that.
This is just a nerd's delight to go through this guide, which is,
Well, you're right up your alley then there, buddy, because
yeah,
I don't know if I'd make it through the first 20 pages.
Well, it was funny because I was reading through it and I was like, man, I've read a lot. And then I looked down and I've only read like 60 some odd pages at that point. It was just like, what the heck? It's like, there's just a lot going on here, but it's neat to go and see who's won the most over the years as far as money wise. Canadians that have obviously done well. Newton finished; he was a runner up. Just going and seeing some of these names and some of these scores.
Mo Norman would have played well at Augusta.
He did not, unfortunately. There's a famous story of him getting a golf tip and then going to the range and basically hitting balls till his hands bled and basically not doing so well. So, but they do have records for every single player that is played. So you can go through and find that player. You can see their actual scoring average. Like pick a random player over the years, just for fun. and I will find them and tell you their Masters record, how many tournaments they started, their first, their last, how many cuts they made, their average.
Angel Cabrera.
Cabrera. Oh, well, obviously we know he won, but let's go. And this is going to take a little bit to scroll up here because there's so many names. M's, L's. I need to get to the C's. I'm at the G's. This is pages upon pages. I know this is thrilling stuff. Cabrera, I'm almost at. I'm at Chen. Chambly's record. You want to see Chambly's record?
Oh, you know what? Forget Cabrera. Give me Chambly's record.
Let's go. Where is it? Brandel Chambly played in 1 Masters.
Oh, that should be interesting.
Made the cut, 72.25. His low round is a 69, high is 75, and he made $52,000. So that was the year he won on tour in 1999. He tied for 18th, so he actually played all right. All right, you asked for Angel Cabrera. Cabrera, let's see. Why is he? Oh, CIB. Yeah, I gotta know my alphabet here. He played his first one in 2000. He played 21 Masters, made 13 cuts. Obviously had his win in 2009, averaged 72.85, and had 11 top 25s.
Pretty good.
It's fun to be able to go back and because you're surprised sometimes when you go back and see the names of the players, and you either don't realize that they did that well at the Masters, or poorly, whatever the case.
It's interesting too. We talk about the Masters not favoring first time players, and if you look at the PGA Tour right now, you've got Chris Gotterup is playing his first Masters that's a player that's playing some really strong golf right now. You've got the current points leader, Bridgman. Again, these are quality freaking golfers, and you're just thinking to yourself, okay, well, only one person has ever made their Masters debut and won, and I know Fuzzy Zeller would have been a decent golfer, but Fuzzy Zeller in his day would not have been at that point a favorite.
No, not at all.
PGA, like even a favorite to win week to week, let alone a favorite to win the Masters. So you're looking at somebody like Gotterup or Bridgman. These guys are playing really good golf right now, and you would think that they would be favorites to do well, but we're already saying that the statistics don't line up in their favor. But it's hard to choose against current playing just because it's Augusta. But
their form,
it's Augusta, and there's something about it, right?
Stats are stats, but they don't necessarily dictate what is going to happen in the end. And as you said, Gotterup's one of 22 rookies that are making their Masters debut this year. So out of 91 players, 22 of them, it is their first time. So can you eliminate them? No, I don't think so, for sure. But
if you're trying to pick a winner, you would probably start by eliminating them all.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at percentages, like Data Golf, for an example, I think they have Scheffler at 14% to win. Again, it's based on statistics and so forth. When you go through, it's different when you start to look at the playing characteristics of the players and how they've matched up to players in the past. Data can be used to, make guesses, but it obviously doesn't guarantee everything as you go back and talk about Cam Young doing what he did.
So there's 90
91 players,
91 in the field. Okay, so let's just we got a little bit of time here. Let's just look at this. Okay, you're trying to predict who is going to be in the likelihood of someone being in contention on Sunday. If you take the 91 player field and you right off the bat take the 22 players that are first timers out of the field.
Right.
Okay. So now you're left with 69.
Yep.
Okay.
Good math.
Now in that 91, you're including the amateurs?
Yeah, that's the total amount of players. So
so does that include in the 22?
Yeah, in most cases, I think there's 6 or 8 amateurs in the field. 6 amateurs.
So assuming they're in the 22, you still have a field so you've got a field of 69 left. Now you look at all of the past champions who are playing who have no shot of.
Oh yeah, but there's not many of those anymore. I don't think so. I mean, yes.
But at the end of the day, if you take the field and you start, you start weeding them out, you could be down to like 30 players that could potentially be in contention on Sunday to win the Masters.
Yes,
out of your 90, just by process of statistical elimination.
Yeah, and I think it's widely known that it is the smallest. It's a weaker field for a major because you don't have the extra qualifiers and you don't have the depth or whatever. But you obviously have the top players, but there's less of them. So if you take the Brooks Koepka approach, as we talked about last week, it's like, okay, how many players do I really have to beat? And as you said, it might be only 30 players that you really have to beat, which is still daunting because they're obviously
but it certainly brings things into a little bit, makes it the goal a little bit more attainable than when you look at week to week on the PGA Tour. You're starting off participating against 150 guys.
Well, it was like yesterday. I had somebody talk to me and they said, "Oh, well, Justin Thomas, he was injured coming into this. He's coming back. I don't know if he'll make the cut." Well, look, the cut's 50 in ties, and you're 91 players. And as we just talked about, there's a whole bunch of players that you can almost eliminate right away. So I like his odds to make the cut. Yeah. So it wouldn't be hard to bet on certain players to make the cut because you're not dealing with 156 players or 144 players. No. You're dealing with a lot less than that, and which again I think that makes it exciting because if you're a golf fan or not a golf fan, if you're a golf fan, yes, you're getting all the players that that are there. But if you're not a golf fan, you're also getting players that you might be familiar with, the names of, which is a little bit different than most other tournaments. Because if we look at a championship like an Open or a U.S. Open, how many times do we all of a sudden see one round, some player plays the round of their life, we've never heard of them before, and all of a sudden they're the top of the leaderboard? That's pretty rare. It wouldn't happen so much at the Masters. They're in the Masters for a reason. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's a good point because you look at how you get in.
Right.
And getting in, it's not the Masters Open.
Right. Exactly.
It's an invitational, and you get in, and it's probably you have to win to get in, or you have to be at the very top of your game. Yeah. In that year or in the previous year, I guess. So it's not easy to get in. So the best of the best are playing, even when you look at the amateurs. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
The U.S. Open, the U.S. amateur that's in it. This is a good golfer.
Yeah, and you won a significant amateur championship, or they've got now they've got the Open Championship. So if you win the Scottish Open, the Japan Open, or so, they have those exemptions now to get in. So
the Canadian Open, no.
Well, it's a PGA Tour event, so you do get that. So that's redundant.
That's true. Maybe that's why the Canadian Amateur doesn't get in, is because they have an entry through the Canadian Open.
No, that's a whole other story going back to Mo Norman days. So,
Mo, what did you do?
But we'll leave it at that. So, but yes, look, in the end, I'm going to be glued to my couch.
Oh,
I know you are too. So,
yes, all day, all night,
3 screens, laptop, phone.
My work week, my traveling around work week ends on Thursday. Ends tonight. Yeah, and with the extra early coverage on Amazon Prime Paramount.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
7 a.m. we'll be watching Masters coverage. So,
and I literally had a message from somebody I know who said, "I'm off until Monday, sitting on the couch watching the Masters." So
I mean, you know what? Anybody is going to be doing the same thing. So if I think I'm going to be going around seeing people about business related stuff, probably
not as much.
I see golf people. It's like I see dead people. I see golf people.
I see golf people.
I see golf people.
And it's fun. We all get to celebrate it. We all get to enjoy it. We have that commonality for this particular week that we all love that particular event. It's pretty odd that you're going to run into a golfer and say, "Oh, what? You're not watching the Masters at all this week?" It's not going to happen, and you know that's part of the celebration. That's part about what makes it fun. I don't know if I'm doing a watch party or anything this year, but whatever the case, I'll have my own watch party.
Exactly. All right. With that, we are going to bid you farewell and a good Masters weekend. Enjoy right up until Sunday night. Enjoy it all. Thank you for listening and watching us. Thanks to our sponsors, Metcalfe Golf Club, Falcon Ridge Golf Club, and our presenting sponsor, Golf PEI. Golf Prince Edward Island is a premier Canadian golf destination boasting the most number of golf courses per capita in this great country. With 400 fairways closer than you can imagine, exquisite culinary experiences, and top-tier accommodations, it is the easiest golf vacation you will ever book, so book it. golfpei.ca. We do hope that you enjoyed listening and watching us. Be sure to follow us across all social media networks, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. Remember to subscribe to Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Do not forget our Facebook or our YouTube channel. Like us, click the notification bell, and make sure you never miss a single episode ever. And get over to flagstick.com. Golf season's heating up. More amazing golf content is delivered there every single day. And do not forget to subscribe to the Flagstick Digest newsletter, delivered to your inbox 3 times a week, totally free of charge, and you will appreciate it. But we do appreciate you tuning in. But until next week, I'm Jeff Potter.
I'm Scott McLeod.
Remember, always go for the stick.